Hey everybody, happy November. My name is Clancy and I serve on staff here at Inner Life Ministries. And this month I have the privilege of giving the devotional thought. So Prince Caspian, if you've ever heard of the Chronicles of Narnia, this is the second book in the Chronicles of Narnia. And if you haven't read them or know much about them, basically there's this character named Aslan. And he is this fierce, powerful lion figure that represents the Trinitarian God of the Bible. And then one of the human characters is this girl named Lucy. And she has met Aslan several times before. And in the second book, we are going to look at a quick interaction between them. Aslan, said Lucy, you're bigger. And then Aslan answers her, that is because you're older, little one. Not because you are? I am not. But every year you grow, you will find me bigger. I love that last line. I am not, but every year you grow, you will find me bigger. So that quote really reminds me of a kind of graph or picture we have in Untying the Knots of the Heart. And you'll see here, this represents our point of conversion, right? Where we come to know Christ. And then two things happen as we mature as Christians, right? We have a growing awareness of God's holiness, and we also have a growing awareness of our own brokenness. And in the beginning, you go, oh yes, that's what the gospel's for. You know, it covers this gap of saying, I am broken before this holy God. But as time goes on, man, we have a growing awareness of his holiness, right? To use Aslan's words, I get bigger. Every year, you get bigger, I get bigger. And then we also have a growing awareness of our own brokenness, of just how deep-rooted this disease of sin in our flesh is. And so we can have two responses to kind of figure out how to fill this gap. And one is self-deception, and one is performance. So I remember for me, or at least in my life, there are behaviors in my life. Some are sin, some are not, but I just go, man, I want to change this so bad. Like, why do I keep doing what I don't want to do for years? And I think, man, I've confessed this to people. I've prayed about it with God. I've tried to get help. And why do I keep doing what I'm doing? And so sometimes a thought that I have is, man, the allotted time for struggle is over. I should not be struggling with this anymore. And because of that, you know what I mean? Like, people are tired of hearing about it. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to self-deceive. It's not a big deal. Nobody needs to know about it. It's not really this anyway. And so we fall into self-deception. All of us do. All of us have levels of self-deception, of deceiving ourselves, and then, of course, deceiving others. And then we also try to fill it through performance, which I also greatly relate to. Through performing religiously, sounding good, doing all of these religious acts, doing the acts of Christ without the heart of Christ, oftentimes, right? So self-deception, performance. But there's a second graph, and this is great news, that as we have a growing awareness of his holiness and our brokenness, there is this great need for the cross to grow too. There's this great need for me to go, oh my gosh, but thank goodness for the gospel. And that you and I do not need to fill it with self-deception or performance. But as we realize how big God is and how broken we are, there's this incredible grace to submit to the God of the Bible and say, Lord, I am just as in need of grace today as I was in day one and since I was born. So let that be an encouragement to you. The words of Aslan, I am not, but every year you grow, you will find me bigger. This month's reading recommended, that I think just goes beautifully with it, was reading this earlier this week and last week, is John 1 through 9, and then Jeremiah 10, 1 through 16. Those are two just beautiful passages that describe both the bigness of God and the hope that we have in Christ. So blessings on your November. Hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving with your friends and family. And we'll see you next month.